This video will talk about some of the new features added to the Panasonic GH4 and some of the features Panasonic forgot to include. If you like this video, then please rate it and subscribe to my channel if you want to see other videos like it. Most of the photos and videos I take are of my kids doing sports in very low light situations. Therefore, I need fast shutter speeds with extremely high ISO values. With the GH3, I use the shutter priority stills mode with auto ISO set to the maximum of ISO 12,800. That worked well, but I couldn't control my aperture in shutter priority mode. The biggest change for the GH4 is that Panasonic now allows you to use the auto ISO feature in the manual stills mode. In addition, the auto ISO feature will go all the way up to a usable ISO 25,600. Therefore, I now set up my camera to use full manual stills mode with auto ISO. That gives me full control of aperture and shutter speed. They also changed it so the last use shutter speed is stored in the custom settings. Therefore, I can create a default shutter speed of 1/320th of a second, and the camera will always be ready to take a great low light sports shot as soon as I turn it on. The manual mode is good, however, it won't allow you to set a positive or negative exposure compensation like the program priority mode will. What we really need is a minimum shutter speed for the program priority mode like the LX7 has. The program priority mode is the most automated mode that still gives you flexibility to control aperture and shutter speed. The problem with the program priority mode on the GH4 is that you cannot set a minimum shutter speed in the auto ISO mode. If you're using a short fast prime, it will always use 1/60th of a second shutter speed, even if the ISO is relatively low. 1/60th of a second simply is not fast enough for low light action shots or shots of constantly moving children. Panasonic absolutely should add a minimum shutter speed setting to the GH4 with a firmware update. There is no reason why this can't be done. When they add the setting, they should give us a variety of choices for minimum shutter speed. 1/25th, 1/30th, 1/50th, 1/60th, 1/100th, 1/120th, 1/125th, 1/160th, 1/200, and 1/250th should all be choices. In addition, these settings should apply to both stills and video in the program priority stills mode. Panasonic has added a new Synchro Scan feature to the GH4. It is supposed to allow you to set very precise shutter speeds for video to eliminate the flicker of fluorescent lights. However, this setting is almost entirely useless because the increments are too small. It isn't necessary to be that precise. Synchro Scan allows you to use exactly 1/120th of a second instead of 1/125th of a second to achieve a perfect 180-degree shutter speed for 60p video. However, the old flicker reduction setting that all of the past Panasonic cameras had would allow exactly 1/120th of a second as well. I loved how I could set the flicker reduction setting to 1/120th in stills mode and then switch back and forth between taking stills and taking video at 60 frames per second with a perfect 180-degree shutter speed for video. 1/120th of a second is also the ideal shutter speed to eliminate fluorescent lighting flicker in NTSC countries. It was a big mistake that they removed the flicker reduction setting for the GH4. They really need to replace it with a minimum shutter speed setting that applies to both stills and video in program priority mode. This one simple fix will drastically change how easy the camera is to use as a hybrid. Panasonic just announced their FZ1000, and they will announce an LX8 soon as well. Both of those fixed lens compact cameras offer 4K capabilities along with a 1-inch sensor that is very similar to the Micro Four Thirds sensor size. Those cameras will also have the minimum shutter speed setting in program priority mode and the new auto ISO feature for the full manual mode. I find it hard to imagine that true hybrid users are going to spend the extra money for a GH4 without the minimum shutter speed setting once the FZ1000 and LX8 are available. You can buy both the FZ1000 and the LX8 for the price of a GH4 body alone. If Panasonic really wants to promote the GH4 as a hybrid stills and video camera, then they need to fix the fact that the GH4 does not have a minimum shutter speed setting for the auto ISO function. Hopefully they will be able to fix this in firmware soon, or a lot of hybrid shooters will probably pass on the GH4 in favor of a less expensive camera.